I feel we live in a commitmentless society, right? And all right, so I heard you say, I believe it's for one of your books. Please correct me, right? For one of your books, you did a lot of research in regards to married couples, seeing why they were married so long.
Yes.
All right. And the thing you found was friendship is the source of the marriage. Now, in our modern times, it's like friendship is not a thing and commitment is not a thing. So I think those two things kind of lead into this lack of long-term relationships. Because friendship is like, I'm not going to say it's obsolete, but friendship in the younger generation is a very tricky thing nowadays. You know, they don't have friends. They don't have long-term friends. They're not committed to friends.
Well, that's an impediment. And again, of course, what happened was there was it was in 2012, the Today Show reported a study where the guests on the show had went all over the world, and they were interviewing couples that were, look at this, married for 65 plus years and still happily married. And when they went all over the world from various different nationalities of people, and they interviewed them, and then they came back and looked at the commonality among all of these happily married for 65 plus years all around the world, they came to the conclusion that the longevity ingredient that had them together and still happily married was that they all were friends with one another. So the conclusion was that friendship is the longevity ingredient of marriage, being friends. And to be a friend means that not only do you love your mate, but you like them. You enjoy their company. They make you laugh. You make them laugh. They make you happy. You make them happy. And let me tell you something about friends. Whenever you've got friends, friendship is better than the car you drive, the house you live in. It's better than the restaurants that you can go, the trips you can take. There's nothing of this material world that can breathe life into a relationship better than friendship can. When we were growing up, we didn't care how cold it was. We would be on the porch as long as we was with our friends. When we were real young, we used to make clubhouses in people's yard under bushes with TVs that didn't even have no power to it, that didn't work. We'd be out there in the rain, in the cold, bugs crawling all over us, getting bit by mosquitoes. We didn't want to go back in the house. Why? Because I'm with my friends. It's something about friendship that is very attractive and it waters the soul. So whenever you have that longevity ingredient where the person that you're married to, you don't just love, you also like being around them, like their conversations, like the way that they are, like their personality. When you got that love and like mixed together, you got friendship. And when you got friendship, you have the longevity ingredient. And it does, Brother Lennon, it does take commitment sometime to get to that point, to grow to the point where this person now has officially become not just your friend, but your best friend. There was something you asked earlier about keeping balance. And I can say that, you know, like anybody else, you don't always feel like doing what you're supposed to do. You don't always feel like doing what's right. You don't always feel like doing what's best at that moment. But feelings are not facts. Facts are facts. And so there are two principles and words that I use to help check my own stinking thinking. These are psychological weapons that I try to use inside of my mind on that devil within here, that brown germ, that yang, that bad wolf that exists in my own consciousness, to put at bay the Satan of self. And that is discipline and commitment. Discipline, I always tell myself, discipline is doing what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like doing it or not. And commitment is the ability to maintain an action long after the excitement has worn off. So I don't have to be excited about it anymore. I'm committed to it, so I'm going to do it anyway. I don't have to feel like doing it because I got discipline. I'm going to do what I should do when I should do it, whether I feel like doing it or not. And if we can operate and use those two principles to govern our mind, we'll find that you don't have to wait to feel good to do good. You can do good and make yourself feel good. You don't have to sit around and wait for everything to be right and for the Spirit to move you. No, you can start moving the Spirit whenever you operate with commitment and discipline. So those are two principles that are very important. In Islam, when we perform a wedding, there's a verse that is mandatory that we read in order for it to be considered a Muslim ceremony. It's found in Surah 4, verse 1. And listen to what it says. O people, keep your duty to your Lord, who created you and your mate of a single essence. Keep your duty to Allah, by whom you demand one of another your rights and the ties of relationship. Look at that. This verse doesn't talk anything about what a man does for a woman or a woman does for a man. It says, keep your duty to your Lord, and then repeats it again, keep your duty to Allah. What do you get out of it? You get your rights from one another. What do you get out of it? You get the ties of relationship. This means, see, what does a tie do? A tie is something that holds two things together. There's a bonding agent for everything that exists in creation, and the bonding agent or the adhesive that you use to keep objects together is based on its nature. You use a different adhesive or bonding agent to keep wood with wood. You use a different bonding agent to keep plastic with plastic. If you want metal to be bonded with other metal, welding has to take place. You can't use the bonding agent for wood on plastic or the bonding agent for plastic on metal. Depending on its nature will determine what kind of bonding agent you must use. Well, God is telling us that the bonding agent, the adhesive, or the glue that keeps a man and a woman together is not really so much what you do for each other. It's your duty to your God. So that commitment that we're looking for starts with commitment to the Supreme Being, to His laws, to His statute, to His commandments, to His word and His way. And then once we commit to Him, it becomes much easier for us to remain committed to our spouses, to our purpose, to our vision, to our business that we're trying to get off the ground. All of those things become an easy thing because we've been practicing commitment on the highest level to the Supreme Being Himself.